Now that we have started working on the admin page of our shopping cart, let's try to polish it and try to add some more code so that we can actually already go to the transaction part of our admin page. So basically, when we talk about the transaction part, that's where the categories and the products will also be added. Okay, so let's first try to look at our code. Okay, so this is actually the code. Now, notice by the way that it's on the left hand side of the page. So, what I need to do is I'm going to adjust it in the center of the page because usually, even in WordPress, it's found on the center of the page, or the login part or the login section is found on the center of the page. Okay, so let's try to add the following code. Since basically this is a card, okay, let's try to add, we'll try to use flex d flex justify content center. Okay, going back here. So as you've noticed, it's still on the left hand side and it became a little bit smaller. So how do we adjust? It's actually small because the column size is 4. So try to make it to 12. Go back here. Okay, so it's already on the center part of the page. Now, I'm going to open also my phpMyAdmin. I'm going to browse my user. Since basically the administrator should be found on into the user table, or should be inserted on our user table. Now, as you can see, it's still empty. Okay, so we'll try to add the default value on our user table. Okay, so what we need to do is we need first to create the password. Okay, echo md5. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5. Then we just have to put something like that. Okay, so this is going to be the default password. 1 2 3 4 5. Then we have your hashtag. Okay, I'm going to go back here. Okay, so this is going to be, this will serve as our default password. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy. Then we have here insert. Make sure, by the way, that I'm in my user table. Then I'm going to click insert. Okay, password. Then also going to add here admin at shoppingcart.com. So that's going to be my default admin username, and it's going to be my default admin password. I'm going to click go. Okay, so I have here one row inserted. So we won't bother ourselves with this one, with this notice. Okay, let's just try to click browse. Then it's already inserted. Okay, go back here again. Let's try to erase this part. Now, what are some of the things that we still need to polish into our admin form, or admin login form? Okay, so now if you wanted to be lazy, or if you don't want to add the username and password every time you try to that you wanted to log in, what you can basically do is you can just click here. You can add here the value. Okay, admin at shoppingcart.com. Then for the password, okay, username 1 2 3 4 5 hashtag. Okay, that's going to be the password. Go back here again. Okay, so it's not actually displaying. Okay, let's try to go back here. We have here value, should be value. Go back here. Okay, this one. Next thing that we need to do is by the way, going back, notice by the way that it's not masked. So we don't want that onto our password field because we want it to be masked. Meaning, when we talk about masked, is that it should be hidden. So it's usually by default the password is masked. Okay, so how do we mask the password? Basically, just by changing type, then of here password. Okay, then okay, that's it. Now, going back here on the code, let's try to modify some more uh, onto our code. So instead of email address, let's try to change this one. Since basically it's username, we have here username. Change it to username. Okay. Then also here, username. Username. Okay. We have here also username. Okay, let's just try to comment this part first. Okay, so it should be redirected to process. Every time we try to click button.login, it should be processed into our process.login.php. Okay, so also need to change this part. Let's try to name this one as uname. Then instead of password, try to call this one as pword. Okay, and of course you have here username. Okay, let's try to click type alert. This is just for testing purposes. Okay, data alert. Okay, I'm going to go back here. Need to reload the page. Then I'm going to click login. So it's empty. Okay. You can actually press Control F5 into your keyboard to clear your cache. I'm going to click. Okay, it's still empty. Okay. So as you've noticed, the data is very much empty. Okay, so let's try to check if username is already found. Back here, reload the page, log in. Okay, so we have here the username. Okay, so I've opened my process.login.php. Okay, then I also opened the other file, which is this one. This is actually the one found in my users or members area. So what I'll be doing is I'm just going to copy everything and then just try to paste it here. Now we also need to do some modifications on the file. Okay, first thing that we need to do is we need to locate where to connect the PHP. Yes, so I'm going to add here dotted slash. You also have your dotted slash. Okay, since it's username, I'm going to add here username. Delete the rest. Then we have here user. Then of course we have here username. Why is it that I'm trying to just copy and paste? I don't want to code it all over again since basically the process would still be the same. Then all I need to do is just try to modify the code. Okay, so if there's no need for me to redo the whole thing, then I won't be redoing the whole thing. If I can just copy and paste it, then the better, because I also need to save my time. Okay, you have here also username. Now, for this one, we have here the data. This is actually the form name. So I have here uname and password. Okay, we have here uname and keyword. Okay, let's also try to delete this part. Just going to add here username. The rest will just be deleted. Same also on this part. Okay, so basically what I did was just try to change this one, username. Then I also added here the session variable and called it username. Okay, let's try to erase the rest of the page. Okay. Now, let's try this time to check our code. Going back here, we log in. admin.shopping.php. Okay, so I'm going to delete this part. Okay, reload the page again. So I'm going to open this time my inspect. Okay, I'm going to click login, console, debugger. We have here network. Okay, then we have here request. So we have here use username and password. Response. Okay, last name. As you can notice, we have here the error already. Undefined variable last name, line 35. Okay, so to go back here on our process login, so we have here last name. Okay, so we don't want that. Okay, so let's try this time to add if dollar dash header dashboard.php. I try to put here set. So if I'm not empty, okay, so we will be redirected to our dashboard. Otherwise, else I type index. Same also for this one. If it's not equals to 1, okay, go back here on the code. You can just leave it as is. Okay, so to go back here, log in. So we already have here on the dashboard part, but it's not redirecting. So we have here localhost, admin, shopping, dashboard. Okay. Let's try to delete this part. Let's try to delete. This is not making any sense. Okay, what we can do is have this one. Or maybe we can do is echo. No, we don't need to put echo. Okay. We will be redirected to our dashboard page. Okay, reload the page again. Now successful login. So I'm already on my dashboard page. Okay. So, okay, as you notice, I'm already on my dashboard page. Going back here, so I have to check if it's, let's say for example, there's an issue with my username and password. Log in, so it can still be redirected to my dashboard. Don't save. Okay, so we don't want that to happen. So how do we do that? How do we check? Okay, so let's start on our session. Session start. Then if we print our session. Okay, go back here, reload the page. Okay, so it's already, session ID is something like that. ID, we don't have last name. Go back here. You need to reload the page. Okay, go back again. Don't save. Okay, let's try to add something on our process that login. status true. Okay, else status false. Okay, so let's try also to remove this part. Okay, so to go back here. Okay, go back again. Going to reload the page. Log in, status 1. So as you notice, it's status 1. Okay, going to reload the page. Okay, it's still status 1. Okay, now let's try to do something first. Equals to CTR is equals to 1. Okay, let's try to troubleshoot this time. Echo CTR. Let's also try to avoid being redirected. One. Okay, so it's 1. This is correct. So we have the status here, which is 1. This one is actually 1. Okay, so say to add account found back here, account found 1. Okay, let's say for example do something like that, then okay, it's empty. Now what we need to do next is, okay, so this is actually correct. So okay, so this is actually so to reload the page. Login status is 1 because it's correct. Status is still 1. We'll try to force this one out. 1, then 0. Okay, there seems to be an error on our code. Okay, we can do something like session start. Okay, so I actually started the session here. So this is the whole code for the session. I'm going to remove this part. So as you've noticed, by the way, my status is 0. Okay, but I'm going to reload the page. Log in. My status is 1. If it's everything is correct, then my status is 1. But let's say for example, I'm going to do something like that. I'm going to click login. My status is equal to 0. So I'm going to go to my dashboard page. I'm going to turn on my session. Then session if status equals to 1. I don't know, it should be equals to 0 or less than or equals to 1, header location index.php exit. And let's also try to add another session variable, session So I have to go back here, session ID. Okay, session ID. Okay, not empty. Okay, going back here, should be redirected. So we're being redirected. But if I'm going to click login and everything in all of the credentials is correct, click login. Okay, there seems to be an error. Not equals to empty, or if it's already empty. Okay. So say to go back here, decide to add this code into our session ID. Set it to null. Or maybe set it to something like that. To reload the page, log in, okay. Go back here, dashboard, not equals to, or, okay, let's try to do check first. Print R, session, okay. So to go back here first, exit. Ah, it's because of this one. Less than 1 and empty. Okay. To reload the page, log in. Okay, so we have something like that. Okay. Otherwise, log in, don't save. So as you've noticed, session ID is empty. Okay. So decide to close, decide to delete this part. We would be redirected. Otherwise, okay, so dashboard is already okay. So the dashboard is already working, and we can already also check the account if it's found onto our system. Okay, so we're going to add it also onto our dashboard into our members area onto our next session. But for now, let's just try to leave it as is.